Welcome to the Unapologetic Podcast with Kaitlyn Talamante, hosted by LadyBoss. This is a space where women rise, own their power, and stop playing small. We get real, we get raw, and we get fired up about confidence, health, business, and life. If you're ready to step into who God made you to be and unapologetically live your best life, then girl, you are in the right place. Let's do this.
This is what unapologetic looks like.
This is my era. I'm walking boldly in my purpose. I'm done dimming my light.
I'm done playing small. God didn't create me to blend in. I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. The old me was surviving. The new me is free.
We rise together.
Here's to living life unapologetically.
Hey ladies, and welcome back to Unapologetic. Today's episode is for the woman who wants more growth, more leadership, more impact, but also doesn't want to lose herself in the process. Because let's be real, high performance without alignment is just burnout waiting to happen. And so today I'm sitting down with someone who truly lives in that balance and is such a bright light I love to be around, Miss Celina Eklund. She is a master facilitator with the Elliott Group. And if you know anything about that world, it's not just a business. It is a culture. It's leadership, and it's truly a family. It is so cool to see. And she's spent over 14 years building teams, driving performance, and creating real relationships in high pressure environment. And she does it with heart. She's also about to step into a whole new season of life. She's getting married in just under, I believe, 2 months, building her future life. And I love that we get to talk about what it looks like to be a driven woman who still values connection, purpose, and people. Celina, how are you doing today? Let's dive in.
This is so crazy because I haven't been on somebody else's podcast in probably over 3 years, but I do these for a week. And so now I know when other people are like, wow, thank you for flattering me, because haven't felt this feeling in a really long time. And so now I know the way that I make other people feel on the other side, because dang, that feels good. I'm like, people are like, can I hire you for the week? And can you just introduce me as this intro that you have? And I'm like, why, yes, I can. So that was so good. I'm so excited to be on here. It's been a long time since I've been on somebody else's. I've hosted so much. So I appreciate you extending the invite to me.
Yes, I am so excited to have you on. Some of our listeners may have heard our podcast. I was on your podcast about 1 or 2 weeks ago. And from the second I met you, I knew I had to have you on the Unapologetic podcast. Your intro is 100% true. Celina is an amazing woman. I hope each and every one of you listening get an opportunity at one point or another to meet her in person. But I would love to hire you to be my personal hype girl on a regular basis, because I know that feeling personally. It's amazing. So before we dive in, I'd love to start with, who are you? Because people see the success, the leadership, the results, what you've built. But what built you into this version of yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so funny. I had a girlfriend of mine that I haven't seen in over 10 years. We went to middle school and high school together. And I saw her probably 10 years ago. And it's crazy how whatever you put your effort and your intentionality and your energy into is what you're going to get out. And, I remember her asking me kind of the same question, how did you, fall into this, or how did you become successful? And I think it's really prioritizing what the most important things to you are. And I think I'm so extremely obsessed of impact and helping other people. Everybody says, and I quote from Napoleon Hill too, the more that you can help other people get what they want, you will get what you want, right? And I think that comes down from being faith driven and having a servant heart and coming from a place of service versus just figuring out what's in it for me, or what can I take? And I think that's really how I fell in love with you. Because you're what value can I add to people? And I think that most people care about consuming instead of contributing. And that's why I resonate with you so much. And yeah, I think that's a really big part of that. Sorry, I feel like I did an outside onion layer instead of the deep one.
Well, that is so I love how you explain it because inside of LadyBoss, we have 4S boss method is what we call it, our 4 boss method formula. And one of the pillars is sparkle. And it is exactly how you summed up. It is, that servant heart, serving others, being able to give back and contribute. And like, there's so much evidence and proof of when you pour into others, like your light, your spark just only grows, right? Like, so it's just that full circle moment in that. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I watched this video yesterday. Actually, somebody DM'd me this video and I'm going to recreate the reel and I'm going to make it on Instagram about me. You know how people take somebody else's clip that they like and then they do a green screen. So they take the clip and then their floating head is at the bottom and then they're commenting back on the video or you're seeing their facial expression on the video. I saw this guy and I'm like, dude, this is so genius. And his business is in Europe, but I thought it was so genius. But all it comes down to is serving. So there's a guy that was interviewing somebody and he had a little mic out and he goes, you made $120,000 in 1 week from baking cakes. And what this guy does is he's like, I just found a way. How can I he's like, whenever you're giving out a business proposal or like you're presenting your pitch deck, nobody checks their emails. Why would you do that? Like, you got to do something different. So he goes, what I created is you can actually upload your PDF online. And I'm giving you like a 10,000 foot view of what his business is. But the video was explained within 10 seconds. He goes, but people will give me their business proposal or their plan, their pitch deck, whatever they want to offer to the company. And he goes, I print it out on a sheet cake and I deliver the sheet cake.
That's cool.
And he's like, and he's like, because nobody checks their emails anymore, but everybody wants a piece of cake. Yeah. And so his business, he sold 1,000 cakes at X amount each cake, and he made $120,000 within 1 week by people up. And he's like, and I'm just a bakery. He's like, I just bake cakes. I've baked cakes for 5 years. And he's like, I just thought this would be easy. And now he's really the person of interest, not the salesperson. Like, he's the one actually winning because he has the business model. Isn't that crazy, Kaitlyn?
It is so crazy. And it's almost absurdity. Like, okay, I'm going to present this business plan on a cake. But like, that's what gets attention because we get stuck in the mundane, stuck in our cell phones, stuck lollygagging, stuck. And so being able to interact differently is just so incredible and so needed.
It's so creative and it's different. And actually what the video was about is he's like, as much as AI is growing, we still need human connection. But he's like, but I also love AI because that's what helps me run my business. That's what helps me print out the business plan on the sheet cake. But at the end of the day, he's like, I still have to deliver these cakes. He's like, people still need to eat and AI can't eat for you. And so I was like, oh, that's so creative. And I think that comes from him having a servant heart. And so I just think of more ways, like if you can serve more people and get more creative with how to serve people, you're going to win every single time. And, that's what I just see through you. And I think that that's really how we like connected.
We definitely did. I had the pleasure of meeting Celina at a mastermind event for teen entrepreneurs. It was super incredible what the teen is doing that has created this whole event, but it's for teenagers.
Yeah, shout out Malcolm.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Malcolm. It's
genius idea.
Yes. And he's putting together this environment for teens who want to be entrepreneurs. Let's be real, ladies. Like, our school system isn't doing that. So it's awesome that he is. And he had the opportunity to host it at the Elliott facility, which is where I got to meet Celina in person. And it was the last day. I had met her. I had said hi. I helped out a little bit, but we hadn't really talked too much. A little bit here and there. And I'm about to go on stage. My presentation wasn't anywhere near done. I'm like hustling and bustling. I'm like half dressed. And she stops me.
You were killing it. You were ready. No, but you were excited. I'm like, listen, some people like crawl in a hole and want to die. But you were like, no, I need to get this out of my body. Like, we need to get my word out of my body. And I'm like, that's baby Jesus.
Yep. The pump was there. And she like stops me. She's like, hey, I'm getting a Starbucks order. I'm like, lifesaver. She got me my coffee. We were good to go. We had enough. But like I said, Celina's like that pump girl. And like, I've never met her a day in my life. And she's like, let me get you a coffee. Not because she had to, not because it was her, like, that's not her job, ladies. Like, because she wanted to, because she truly has a servant heart. And there's so many layers of that. And honestly, it was like, that life savior moment where I was like, I didn't think I was going to have time. I was going to try to DoorDash it. And like, the coffee pot at the hotel wasn't working. And it was, she saved the whole thing for the coffee.
I think it's so important whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're somebody that's working inside of a company, so like an entrepreneur, I think it's really important that you don't title yourself with "it's not my job."
Yes.
And I think that that's where most people fail in business is like, that ain't my problem. That's not my job. Like, there's a lot of things that aren't my job too. You know, small things like taking out the trash or making sure that people have their coffee before they go on stage, or like little things that I know that other companies handle here, or delivering our water. But it's like, I'm going to go to the water place today. Might as well pick up the company's water. It's like, technically we pay this company to deliver our water, but I'm going to go there anyways with a truck. Might as well pick it up. Right. I think it's those small little things, but I think people get sucked and trapped in a hole when they're like focusing on the not my job part. Like, it's not my problem. But like, I think there's a sickness inside of me where I'm like, I'm okay with making other people's problem my problem, you know? And I think to myself, I think I've spent a lot of time like alone, and I know what it feels like to be part of something and accepted in something and to feel like I'm being taken care of. And it's few and far. And I just want other people to experience that. I don't want anybody to ever feel like left out. And that's what I love about the company that I work for in the Elliott Group and Jacqueline and Andy Elliott. Like, it's a really, really big core value. It's a hidden, invisible core value for us is nobody gets left out. Doesn't matter who you are. And like, you're a human and humans are going to be respected. Like, I'm going to respect you because you have a soul and you have intention and you're on this earth. And I respect that. And I think that that's just an important piece of like running a business and doing bigger things. And you probably, Kaitlyn, do a lot of things for other people that aren't publicly announced, like on a podcast or in a meeting. But like those things that you do behind the scenes that aren't in public in front of everybody else is really like who you are and what pierces your heart and makes you whole. You know, and I just think when you do those things behind the scenes and not for recognition, those things eventually like come through. Like I had a meeting this morning and I wrote down some notes and I said that when your intention is in the right place, God's always going to favor you.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the right attitude, like he's just going to give more to you because there's so much bad attitude in the world that he's going to reward you.
Yes. Yes. Be that light, be his light in the world. I think, another thing is you mentioned like how, it's so easy to stay to yourself and kind of go in that hole. And especially post COVID. And then with all the AI stuff and then all the things on social media and our heads and our devices, like it has gotten lonely in so many more ways than ever before. But as humans, we crave that interaction. But it's also really hard to put yourself out there. So to be able to create that space where entrepreneurs, women, men, faith believers, where you're at, to have that space that you are safe in, that you're comfortable in, that you can share in and receive in is just so powerful. Like you need it. You cannot stay in your hidey hole. Like it's not allowed. Your body wants you to interact. Your body wants you to share that light. The Lord wants you to share that light.
Well, it's like, how else are you going to make an impact? And I used to think that all the time. Like if I could just crawl in a hole and go sit on a chair and just be on my phone all day long or just read books all day long, it's like that doesn't really like align with like success and making an impact. Like you can only do so much by like sitting in the dark and alone. And I just don't think that politics is going to change the world. Kaitlyn, I think it's going to come from people like yourself that are one-on-one individually out there that are actually doing the work, that are like, I tell people all the time, if you can just take 10% of my courage, take that and go run to the bank with that and go use that as power in your business. Yes. Like there's so much like power to that. And momentum is really, really hard to gain in business. It's hard. But once you catch it, it's like, don't ever let it go. Like hold on to that thing and keep it and run as hard as you possibly can because, it's easy to slip into the world of mediocrity. And, that's like your secret potion for success, I guess.
No, it really is. You have to hold on to it and go. One thing I love when I was there for the event, it was at the Andy Elliott Group. The event center is where all of you work. And I got to personally feel like what Andy and Jackie have built. Y'all are a family. And I say Andy and Jackie, but it wouldn't happen without each and every one of you that are part of that team. And it's not even a team. Again, it's the Elliott Army. It's the Elliott family. And It's so rare to see that in any organization, whether we're talking a business or PTA or a church or a community, whatever. It is so rare to see that kind of solid foundation that truly like locks in the vision and the core values and build that family dynamic. So I would love to hear your insight. Like, how do you build that? How do you build that real loyalty? That
That's
belief?
a great question. And this is probably one of my favorite questions because it's also really, really like hard. I feel like it's one of those questions where it's hard to answer without experience, like being here. So I've been with the company for 4 years now, and I think we're very, very like direct with people. So we don't have HR.
Love it.
Jacqueline is HR. Like if you have a problem, like you're going to get on a phone call with her and call her. Yeah. We don't really have, a place where we can file complaints or, I guess a place that like moderates issues. And so we have a really direct culture. So if you have a problem with somebody or some issues, like you go directly to them. And I think that that's what creates a family environment. And also, if you're a business owner and you're looking to hire and you want to grow your company, the most important part of everything, not only is it your interview with that person, but number 2 is the spouse. Are you also interviewing the spouse or the girlfriend or the boyfriend or the husband or the wife and the kids and the family? Because while they're dedicating their life, 95% of your life that you're going to end up spending with after you turn 18 is either going to be your spouse or your coworkers, right?
Yes.
So when you give yourself to your work all day long and you work hard and you're here for 10 hours, there is a standard that you're telling the significant other, hey, they're not going to be messing around here and we're going to hold them to a high level and a standard. Are you okay with this? Because if you're not okay with this, then this isn't going to work. Like we need the buy-in from everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, Kaitlyn, I feel like that's what really creates that family environment. Remember how we were just talking about like not my job, or it's like, I don't need to be doing this. We had a surprise bridal shower for me this past weekend that I wasn't aware of, that all the wives and the girlfriends all got together and put that together for me. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't need it, but they still did it for me anyways, because it's the right thing to do to celebrate somebody's new life.
Yeah.
And so I think those are the things that create that family-like environment, is having like moments and those pockets of times that most people don't do.
Yes.
And you combine that over a 4-year period and you can really feel, how much people care. Yeah. It's a magical thing. Sorry, that was a really long answer. Did that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And I love it. I've actually seen pictures and videos and whatnot from your bridal shower this weekend. And it was so cool to see that all the things they went above and beyond. It was beautiful. I hope you had a grand time. I mean, what a special thing to have people in your life that prioritize you and celebrate these moments. Such an
I think that when you are building one another and you're building your identity and you're helping other people build their identity, I think that then the work feels like, man, I feel like owed to it or obligated in a healthy way to give it my all when I am at work. And just seeing how much everybody else, how much it took time out of their schedule, and everybody's kids conveniently this week, they all have hand, foot, and mouth. Everybody's all sick, but they still left their kids with their husbands and they all still came together to make this happen. And so I think about that, like, okay, Sammy is getting married in 3 months. So I'm like, okay, guys, like, let's all get together. Ian Macklin, our VP, is like, hey, girls, can you guys all get together? Like, let's do a shower with her. And I'm like, awesome, let's do it. So we have a little planning committee that's, starting to get the theme and everything. And I'm like, I got 4 of the different bride-to-be headband things. I'm like, let's pass that on. Let's pass the tradition on. And I think really, like, when the spouses are taken care of, the men feel that, because that's what also builds men, and they feel like, okay, this is a family culture. So to turn this back around into something that you're really good at is community. And we talked about that on the podcast that I had you on, right?
Yes.
Community is so important because other people need one another. And it's like, if we don't create it here and people don't feel safe here, they're going to go work someplace else and get recruited someplace else. And we don't want that. Like, we want to keep our employees happy. We want to keep the team happy. We want to create this family environment where you're safe. I remember one of the first weeks that I started working here, I'm kind of like crazy. Like I'm really weird and like I do like weird quirky things like I know how to do the splits. I've been doing the splits since I was a kid because I used to dance. So like sometimes when I get really excited and like, a sale goes up, we don't call it a lead. Like we don't say a lead just came in and I closed the lead. We call it a life. Like I changed this person's life, right? So like I'll go over by the bell and I do the splits and I just do crazy like weird things, like I like to like challenge people and almost like make them feel a little uncomfortable, but make them feel like what is happening right now. I like to push that boundary.
Wild.
And, I think that those are like the little pockets of moments that make people feel like this is good. So I remember my first week working here when I was like doing all that crazy stuff. I'm like, wow, I finally feel free. Like I finally have the opportunity to set myself free. And I feel like I can really be who I was destined to be because this is a safe place that's allowed for me to be who I want to be. And that really creates a family culture too.
That is awesome. I love that. And there's so much truth in that. I see it inside the LadyBoss community, not only with our ladies, but even with me. You've heard me say I talk too fast, I talk too much, and I talk too loud. And it is very true. And in fact, yesterday I popped on a live. We just launched a new challenge for April and I popped on a live in the community after my workout, like legit, my workout ended at 8:55. I was on the live at 9. So I still had the sweat dripping down my face and I was pumped. And one of the ladies in the comments was like, I love it. Like you always like, she's like, we totally are understanding your Kaitlynese. And I'm like, Kaitlynese, I love it.
Was that the first time that name was ever made? You've never heard that before?
Yeah.
I like that.
I have never heard it before. I was like, that is so cool. But like,
that is funny.
When I say like, I talk too much, I talk too fast, I talk too loud, like those used to be bad things. Like people would tell me to be quiet or slow down or think before I speak or yada, yada, yada. And I've owned that that's who I am. So when I pop on a live, I might be like, whoa, okay, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. But the ladies love it. And then Kaitlynese, like I was like, yes.
Yeah, you're the breath of fresh air. That's why people love your community and what you do is because it's like it's like you're not the escape, but you're the missing like ingredient to what they need in their day. They have their conversations with their kids or their husbands, and then they got work stuff going on, and then they're like, where's the Kaitlynese? Where's that like dosage that I need to like put the cherry on top of things? Yeah. And I think that it's so like undervalued, underrated is people just, creating that space. And that's what you do is you're just creating that space for other people to be like, you can have your own theme or title or thing. And I watched this video yesterday too. I'm referencing a lot of videos right now because I have some content that's coming out. But this lady did a video and she goes, see this picture of Dolly Parton? She's like, just so you all know, Dolly, this is the way that you see Dolly Parton with the eyelashes, the big hair, the big boobs, the small waist, the heavy makeup and the outfits that she wears. And she's like, you guys all know Dolly Parton doesn't really look like this. Like, let's strip away the makeup, the wig. Like, she's a wig. She wears a wig, the boobs, everything. Let's say, and I'm like, this girl showed a photo of what Dolly Parton looked like without all of it. She goes, imagine if you just went to the grocery store and you were in the checkout line and this lady was next to you. You'd probably never recognize her or ever think that it's Dolly Parton because people, when they grow to become famous, they have like a character image or they have like a thing of what people know them for. And I was like, that got my brain thinking. And so she's like, so I want to ask you, if you were to go and get famous, what would your character costume thing be? So like, Kaitlyn, you have the theme of like the glitter and all that. And that's what people like know you as that shine. And then you take all that away. And that's almost like a part of your identity. And so I love that analogy though with Dolly Parton, because I think to myself, that's also building a brand. That's genius.
Yes.
Like look at people like Lady Gaga or like Nicki Minaj, for an example. Like we know them to be big, full on wigs, blue, pink, yellow wigs, extravagant costumes, right? But if we were to take all that stuff away and she was at a grocery store, I would, just a t-shirt and jeans, you would never know. And that's the power of building a brand. That's special. I'm like, dang, what does my like character thingy look like, of my avatar?
Well, I think the easy way to describe it is it's who you authentically are. But are you authentically always on 100% of the time? No, because it's a lot of work. Like I hopped off my live that was an hour and I was full pump energy, enjoyed it, was authentic, raw and real. And I'm like, okay, it's nap time. Like, whoo, the nervous system is crashing. Like it is break time.
Yes.
And I do that after events. Like I am on, whether it's a day event or a week event, it is on. And it's like, I need some downtime to recoup, to take care of me. But both are authentic. The person that is in my sweats, no makeup, no lashes, doing a whole lot of nada, but so is the person with the makeup and the hair and the heels and the talk too fast. Like they're the same person. They're both authentic. But it's a matter of that ebb and flow that you have of like, you've got your times where you're ready to go and kill it. And then you just need to have that relaxation period that you almost don't want anyone to recognize you because you just want to be blend in for a little bit so you can take a breath. And there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, and get a caramel macchiato, triple shot.
Yes.
That's Kaitlyn, that's what you would be. If you were a food, you'd be a caramel macchiato, but you'd be the triple shot. Because I think standard is 2 shots, but you're extra spicy. So you'd have the 3rd shot in there.
And I don't know if you remember, you do remember that's what I ordered that morning, right? My caramel.
Yes, I do. Yes. I think that it was standard though. It wasn't an extra shot, but I would say you're an extra shot. I would order you like that. I should have ordered you do one. That's okay. I'll do another one and I'll make sure that it has 3.
Yes, my coffee's already empty. It's like round 2. Round 2.
Are you a kind of person that you like hot in the winter, iced in the summer kind of thing? Or no, are you somebody that's like iced 100% of the time or hot 100% of the time?
I am bipolar. No, I love in the summer, I love my iced coffee. In the winters, I love my hot coffees. In the morning, I always like a nice drip warm coffee. But if I decide between hot and cold, I will order both.
Like, yeah, I do like breakfast. I feel like breakfast for me or morning needs to be hot, but midday I go for cold unless it's freezing out. Yeah, I'm the same way. What kind of coffee do you, or is that okay that we're talking about this? This is
yes, of course. Yes.
Okay. What kind of coffee do you have like a Keurig or like what do you use to make your drinks?
All right. So I live in the boonies, the middle of nowhere. The closest Starbucks is an hour away. The closest coffee drive-through is like 25 minutes. So I've got my Keurig drip and it's my whatever drip coffee I have with my Starbucks caramel macchiato creamer. And then I have an espresso machine with all the fixings and all the things. So if I need an extra kick later on, I'll have a iced.
Okay, actually that's funny. I have both the same things too. So we have a Keurig that we're actually counting. We have a tally marker of how many times that we use the Keurig until the Keurig goes out because we've realized that the Keurig will last. If we have about 2 to 3 cups a day, the Keurig machine lasts about a year. Well, not every single day. Plus, we take vacations every now and then. That's probably, 3 weeks out of the year, right? But for the most part, two a day. And so we've been studying the pattern of our Keurig machine and it lasts for about a year until we have to get another one. But I wanted to make shots and the Keurig is just more like drip style. Mm-hmm. So Tyler got me an espresso machine and I make like a caramel macchiato off the pod. Have you ever gotten the frozen balls? Have you seen the frozen balls?
The whiskey balls? Yes.
No, separate. So this is a game changer for anybody like wanting to level up the coffee game. So because when I make the iced caramel macchiato with the ice in it and then it has the milk and then I toss it on top, if I were to put the regular shot on top, it would melt the ice. Mm-hmm. So I bought these balls that I don't know why I'm going like this. I guess because it's 2 of them. I don't know why I'm making this hand motion like this. I'm cupping it. So I'm showing you how big it is, but they're frozen. You freeze it and it comes with this little like tray thing. So when it comes out, when it drips out, it hits the frozen ball. So it cools it down. And then I put it into a cup and then I put it in the caramel macchiato. So it doesn't ice.
I'm going to have to go to Amazon and check that out because, that is always the battle. And then you've got to drink it before it gets too watered down. And
yes. And so I have a frozen glass in the freezer that drips onto through the ball, through the full.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I'm going to go to Amazon after we hop off. I wanted to mention the spouse thing that you mentioned when people come into the Elliott group, how it's not just the person who's applying for the position, but it's the spouse as well. And I think it's so ironic you mentioned that because just yesterday I was talking to someone about your inner circle, your closer circle, your inner circle, your circle, and your outer circle and where people lie and all the things. And the person I was having the conversation with was like, well, it's like, I met this guy. He's great. Went out to breakfast with him. Like I could see him being in my inner circle. And then him and his wife and I went to breakfast and well, will we be friends? Probably. But is he in my inner circle? And I was like, and I want to ask you, why do you think it was that like they could be friends, but not in the inner circle after he met the wife?
I don't know if I could. It's a tough one. I think that's a great opportunity for a leadership opportunity. So I would probably, whoever's applying for the position, like I would just make it very clear of the expectations of like, is it for working or just being friends? Is it for work or just friends?
Say being friends. Like why would you not be able to have that person in your inner circle after
That's it.
house? Like what red flags do you think the red flags set off or you were noticed?
That's a good question. And I think something to always rely on is intuition. And if your intuition is telling you something that something doesn't feel right, that is our gut instinct that you should never, ever, ever, ever like ignore. And so something for me that's a standard, like a non-negotiable is like my faith. And whether you believe in God or Christianity, or maybe it's something else, I still want to be around other people that believe in a higher power being, not nothing, And so like, if that person aligns with that, then I think that there's always going to be an opportunity for growth. And I've had that too. Like I have people that I know that are in the inner circle that I work with here, but maybe the spouse isn't as on board. And so I see it as a leadership opportunity. And I'll give you an example. We have somebody that is newer here that's probably been with us for about 4 months or so. And she came to the shower this past weekend and I got her number and like we text every now and then, but I feel like she's not as involved as like some of the other women are. And I want her to be involved and I know that she wants to be involved too. So I took it as a leadership opportunity. She came to my bridal shower and I was like, that's really kind. Like she didn't have to do that. It's not her job, but she still came anyways. And she even got me a nice gift, which she didn't owe me that either. I said, she's obviously trying to intentionally create a relationship with me. Like she is going out of her way to put effort into this. And I really respect that. And I want to do that. So I sent her a text on Monday and I said, hey, I want to spend more time with you. And like, I want to get to know you more and get to know your story more and know your daughter more. Like I'm about to have kids. I should be around more moms. So I said, at the end of every day at 5:30, I go to the fountain just right down here and I do 2 laps and I'd love for you to meet up and bring your daughter and maybe we can just play at the playground. And she was like, that sounds great. And that hour we bonded closer than ever, but that wouldn't have happened without that leadership opportunity of let's go do this. And I think that I gave her a couple of different perspectives and helped her see differently and encouragement. And she is like, and so when, we went our separate ways and she texts me like a couple hours later and she's like, that really meant a lot to me. Like, thanks for spending some time with me. And I don't know who else is like doing that for her or wants to cultivate that with her, but I know that it's my job to do that as a leader. And so I would say that for that person as well too, is like, if they're not as on board, instead of looking of all the bad things, I would be looking for what opportunities can I insert myself to bring them more on board and show them love and encouragement of the way that we live and where we want to go. I'm not a big person on having a conversation to have a conversation. I like to have conversations about like goal-oriented things.
Meaningful.
Yeah. If it's not like goal-oriented, it's like really hard for me to
that's one
like
thing
relate to,
That's one thing I struggle with personally when it comes to like, when I'm at work, I'm on, when I'm on Facebook Lives, I'm on, when I'm at an event, there's all this amazing conversation happening. But I live in a really small town where the mentality is different. It's harder to find the goal oriented and it's there. It's on me to go out and do that work and be that leader, right? So whether you're talking about a business or your personal life, like you can take that initiative because at this point in life, like we just don't know how to interact as humans. So I love how like the gal you went on a walk with, you could have sat back and like made your judgments, but like you said, like maybe she was trying to make an effort. She just didn't know how and didn't want to step on toes and was self-conscious or whatever was going on in her own mental battle. And you gave out that olive branch and spread that kindness. That's like, we hit it off. Like, we're going to be great friends now. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. And I also want her to know, like, hey, you can come to me for anything that you need. Like, you're not new here. Just, and I think that there's a stigma that, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or like, I've only been here for 6 months. You've been here for 4 years longer. Like, I never want that to be a competition. And so I wanted her to know, like, without me literally having to text her, hey, I got you. Anything that you need, let me know. That was my form of saying, I love you and I got your back if you need anything. Like, that solidified my relationship with her. And then I thought to myself, how can I do this every single week with a new person? Like, if I'm going to go on these walks anyways. And so I did it. So one of the other guys that's newer and is actually from Canada, him and his wife and his baby, nine months old, moved out here. Yeah, big change for her. Like, this is a big deal. And they're both born and raised in Canada. They had to get like their passports, dual citizenship. I mean, it was a long process. And so I'm like, you know what? I bet she would appreciate some companionship. So I sent her a text after the gal last night sent me a text, and I sent the guy's wife from Canada a text. And I was like, hey, this Saturday, I'm going at 9 a.m. if you want to come with me. And she's like, let's do it. She's like, I would love to. That goes back to the whole, like, I just don't want people to feel left out or like not a part of. But leadership is also setting the example. So if I set the example and I'm going out of my way to make the relationship, it's like two great things kind of collide into one.
Yes. I think one thing that's huge, and it's a little different, I would say, in business and in the LA group, I think y'all have done an amazing job setting the standard where this probably isn't even an issue. But in any of those relationships, it's a two-way street, right? Like, it's not just give, and take. There is give and take in those relationships, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, just like how, I'm there for her. That same situation. So the gal that I was telling you about from Canada, her best friend passed in her sleep like 2 weeks ago. And that's why she went back to Canada just this week to go see her. So like, it's a give and take kind of thing. Cause I know that if I lost my best friend and I was going through things, I'm like, I text her immediately and I was like, hey, grab what's the GoFundMe? Is there any way that we can financially support her or her family? Do the kids need something? Can we mail something out? Can we buy it from Target? Can we buy it from Amazon and ship it to her? And so I think she saw that gesture. So when we had the bridal shower, there's the give and take. Like, she showed up at the bridal shower with gifts because it is like the two-way street. And same thing of like, I'll make sure that we're pouring into her husband, that her husband is also growing and flourishing in the company. And I think it's really important. The most important person inside of an organization, you think about all the different positions like receptionists or the host or the bartender or marketing or sales or the owner or the VP or the general manager. You have so many thousands of different positions in a company, but the most important one is the human that can develop another human the fastest. They can recycle and do that the fastest. And so I just think to myself, how do I take what Celina has and how can I duplicate myself within other people? And so like everything of what we're talking about right now, how do I get 100 other people in the company to see that same way? So that way they can go reproduce that through other people too. And I think that that's where the real like value is at.
Yes. I love that. And I kind of want to iterate a little bit more of it. It's like, it's not a matter of like hounding who Celina is down someone's throat. It's not a matter of, forcing your faith and your beliefs down someone's throat. It's literally being authentic to you, lending, helping, leading, whatever it is by example. And it becomes contagious. People are just like, I want to feel the way she shows up. Like, I want to do that for others. Like, how she made me feels amazing. I'm going to go do that for others. And so again, it's not about forcing it onto people. Like, it literally starts leaking into everywhere and seeping, and it grows bigger and bigger and blossoms into this incredible trajectory. And as that person that's leaking, you don't always hear the feedback from others about the impact, but every once in a while you get that DM that's like, Celina, like, we interacted, you did XYZ for me. And like, it just made me see like there's so much more. I'm so appreciative and grateful. And you're like, yep, that's why I do what I do right there. Cause I'm called.
So true. I remember when I was growing up, my mom had to work she was in the military, but she also worked like a late night waitressing job. And I remember a lot of her friends helped raise me because she was my dad was deployed through the military a lot. So she had a lot of her friends help raise me naturally. And one of her friends, I remember, she was 25 years old and she had a Volkswagen Beetle and it was silver. The color was silver, but it had pink Hello Kitty stuff all over in it. And it was just the cutest, coolest, like me as like a 6-year-old looking up to a 25-year-old as like a teenager, like, whoa, this is so cool. And I remember one time she picked me up from where my mom was working, and we went in her car, and I got to sit in the front seat, and we went and got our nails done. And then she dropped me back off at, after my mom's shift was finished. And I'll never forget that moment that was created for me, where I was like, whoa, how cool is this? Like, I'm sitting in the front passenger seat of a brand new Volkswagen, and I'm going to get my nails done, which, like, wow, we didn't have any money to get nails done, but like I got the press-ons and then my toes done. Like, it was a big, big, big deal for me. And, $150 to spend on a manicure and pedicure when I'm not even your kid, like I'm your friend's kid. And I remember that so vividly. And so I just think to myself, like, everybody that we're surrounded with, family environment, everybody has kids. So I'm like, okay, how can I do that and duplicate that for somebody else? So our wedding that's coming up, right? I don't want to do extra things if we don't need it. Like, we technically don't need like a ring bearer and flower girls and this and that. And like, we don't need that. But I was like, but it's an ROI. It's a return on investment for my soul, my sanity, for the company culture, that I'm like, two of the guys that I work with, their daughters are best friends and they're perfect ages. So we picked them to be the flower girls. So we took them a whole day experience. Like, I wanted them to have that feeling that I had in that car. So we had a little brunch set up for breakfast, and then we went to David's bridal after, and they got to pick and choose through all the dresses and all the colors, and like, they were in and out of the dressing room, and I just stood there and just sat on the side, and I'm like, you guys just go have fun, just go. But they just ate it up, and now every time they walk past by the office, they're like, are we going to Mexico yet? They're like, how many days? And I'm like, I did it. Like, I recreated that moment of what I did when I was 6. And so that creates a family environment. It creates a leadership opportunity. What are they going to do when they're in their 20s and 30s and they get married? What they could pass on to another girl to have that feeling. Like, there's just so many benefits, healthy benefits that come from it.
And I mean, as a mom, like, your kids don't listen to the parents. Okay. Like, we can lead by example. We can wine and dine them. We can splurge. We can try to give them that experience, right? It's not the same.
Yeah.
It is not the one bit. And so I love doing that too, where you met Rose at Teen Mastermind. I've known Rose for a few years now, and I've gotten to watch her publish not one, but 2 books now, launch her businesses, all the things she's going through. And I don't think I've ever really done anything crazy for her by any means, but she's always like, no, like, you've inspired me. Her mom's like, you don't know what like a role model you are. And I'm like, but that's my goal. I don't mean to. I don't do it where I'm like, oh, I've got to like, it is, no, I want it to ooze. I want it to be that she can send me a text and I can help her, or will give her my feedback or guide her or whatever it might be, because I want her to have those same experiences. I want her to not let the noise of the world, especially as teenagers and young girls, tell them they're not good enough and all the negative that happens. Like, I want to help be that light. Like, you help those girls have that experience that they'll never forget.
It's fulfillment.
I can't give them because it's not the same.
Yeah, it's fulfillment. Like, you feel so good when you do it. And I'm like, I think we ended up spending like $100 on each of the dresses, which again, it wasn't something we didn't need, but it's like, but for that money, it's like, what else are you going to do with the money? Just, get more cake or get another thing that you're going to add to the wedding. It's like, that money is worth the memory forever for them. That's probably the same with you and Rose and your relationship that you have. Rose is amazing also. Incredible girl.
Yes, she is. So incredible. And I love the money piece you just brought up. Like, it's so true. Like, there, especially as a mom, you get caught up and, you buy Easter baskets, and then you buy birthday gifts, and then you buy Christmas presents. And there are plenty of years I did that and I fell into the cycle. But what happens? The toys are junked. They're thrown in the corner a week later. They don't last. They don't remember. And so now we really don't do presents in our house. We do experiences, because those core memories, like you taking those girls to the bridal shop and brunch and all of that, they're going to remember that the rest of their lives. And so that's what I want to be able to do with my own kids. Is I don't want you to just have the junk that you're just going to throw in the closet. Like, let's build something. Let's make an experience. Let's create a core value. Like, so incredible.
That is fun. Yeah, that's the good stuff in life.
So
that is very true.
You are incredible at building relationships. Like, there's no beating around the bush. Like, you just are in life and in business. But you're about to be stepping into marriage, which is a whole new level of partnership. And so what have relationships in business taught you about relationships in life?
That is a great question. You know, my word of the year this year is intentional. And so just like that person that you were talking about, you know, that went out for coffee, we have had a really different season in business this past year for myself and Tyler, my fiance. And we've probably been burned the most actually in the past 12 months than we ever have before in business. And, you know, I had a conversation with Tyler the other day and he's like, let's just face it. He's like, we're really nice people and we've been taken advantage of this year and people have not valued us the way that we should be valued. Therefore, moving forward, you and I are going to get closer than ever and we're going to protect the people that we let in and we're not just going to say yes to everything. You know, so I've said yes for a really, really, really long time, and I'm almost 32. And so I think now, like getting married plus also like having kids in the mix, like I think we're going to be starting a new season of like, no.
Yes.
You know, I think it's like time to focus and prioritize and be intentional with those relationships and my future relationships and our future kids. So we're really like dialing that in right now of not just saying yes to everybody and everything because our family is going to have to come first and our kids are going to have to come first. And that's going to be new. And I've already said no a couple times to a few things and it's interesting and weird and uncomfortable. It's like a dog has peanut butter on the roof of their mouth that's just trying to get it off. You know, you become proud of yourself when you set boundaries. So boundary setting is what we're really focusing on too this year.
That's incredible. And it's so true. Like you have to be able to say no. No is not a bad word. And at the end of the day, everyone's going to take your no differently, but it comes down to protecting and keeping safe and keeping happy the people who mean the most to you. I'm a big believer in you believe in the Lord. In the Bible, when Jesus is with his disciples, there's a knock at the door and they come and say, hey, your mother and your brothers are at the door. And Jesus looks at him and says, who are you calling my mother and my brothers? You are my mother and my brothers. And so I've always taken that as we have the ability to create that yes zone that keeps us happy, that keeps us safe. It's not like because they're blood, we're committed and we can't say no. Because we have to prioritize and protect our space that keeps us on track and happy and thriving in the life we're building and cultivating.
True. That's a great analogy. I'm going to use that today.
You're going to have to go tell
I'm
me
going to use that today.
Just be like, you know,
I am.
Even biblical, honey.
That is funny. That is good. I will share that with him. I like that.
Because I mean, I know like you have in-laws and families and brothers and sisters and you can't make everyone happy. And then you've got friends that you've been attached with at the hips. Like my favorite friend relationships are the ones where we haven't talked to in 1, 2, 3 years and we can get together for brunch and like hit it off like we never stopped. Those are my favorite relationships. The life and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And there's not that animosity of, oh, you ignored me for a year or whatever it was. Like we both got busy, but now we can connect and hit it off and we have tons to talk about. So it's probably going to take us all day, but you get to have that break in that moment too.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, you become more grateful and opportunities. God is really good at giving opportunities. And when it's there, it's the chance to say yes or no. And I'm like, God, I'm going to be saying no for a little bit.
Yes. And he doesn't tell us to say yes to everything. It's not at all. Nope.
This is true.
All right. So I've got a few final questions for you. But as we wrap up, can we do some rapid fire?
Yeah, go.
Answers rapid fire, like no thinking about first thing that pops in your mind. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
All right. One word that describes your leadership style.
Oh, man, careless.
Ooh. The best advice you've ever received.
Careless, actually, yeah. Am I trying to say careless? Like, or not careless, but selfless, as in careless, like not inner focused. I don't know why they came out. I was trying to think of like selfless and like careless, but like.
It's like, we're going to have to
anyways.
Explain that in a little bit for me.
Yeah, careless as in like.
Selfless.
I don't know what I was trying to say. I've never been rapid fired before. Yeah, selfless is the better form is what I should say. Okay, next one.
Best advice you've ever received.
Go all in on yourself.
Something people don't know about you.
I wonder what kind of phobia that I have. Oh, I can lucid dream. I have a lucid dreaming.
What motivates you more, winning or growth?
Growth.
Yeah. A belief you've outgrown.
One more time.
A belief that you've outgrown.
Yeah.
A past belief.
Yes. Oh, a belief. One, you're asking me a belief that I've outgrown. Probably a worthy type of feeling of I'm only good for certain things or certain types. And I've crushed that and I've moved on from that I am enough.
And final one, Celina, how is Celina living life unapologetically today?
Oh, that's a good question. I need to make one of those tagline things for me. I like that. I'm totally going to take that. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is not caring about what other people think and like focusing on like what makes me happy. I feel like maybe that kind of ties into the careless thing of what I was trying to get at, is like not worrying about getting people's like attention or approval, but seeking what's going to have that security inside of my heart is the most special thing to me.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Celina. This was so good. And I think what stands out the most for me is that you don't just perform at a high level, like you connect at a high level. Like you are so intentional in all things that you do, in all interactions you have. And that is so rare, because anyone can chase the results, anyone can chase winning, but not everyone can build relationships that last. And for the women who are listening, here's what I want you to take away. You do not have to choose between success and connection, and you do not have to become someone hard to have a life you enjoy, right? You can build, you can lead, you can grow, and still fully be you.
True.
You want to go follow Celina and hear all about her podcast. Where can they track you down?
Yes, best place is on Instagram, and it's Celina, Celina.Eklund, Eklund on Instagram, which I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm going to change my last name. So I don't know if I change that on Instagram, but as of right now, that's where you can find me.
Better go find her quick. It changes in 2 months. Go follow her. Go check out her podcast. Go hear more about her story. And she has some incredible guests on her podcast on a regular basis. I think she publishes 1-2 times a week right now.
Yes. Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
Go follow her. Thank you, ladies, for listening today and checking in and being able to hear what it's like and what's possible when you live and lead with that servant heart. Again, Celina, thank you so much for sharing. And ladies,
officially a Kaitlynese.
Kaitlynese is on. Ladies, we will see you next time. Have a great one. Bye.
I'm showing up as the woman I was created to be. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be real. One woman's courage gives another permission. I'm done waiting for someday. My time is now. I'm walking in faith, not fear. God's plan for me is bigger than my fear. No more hiding who I am. This is the real me, and I'm not apologizing for her.
Thank you for tuning in to the Unapologetic Podcast. If today's episode fired you up, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new one. And hey, leave a quick review, or sharing this with a friend helps us reach more women who need this message. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and keep living unapologetically.